Peace and blessings, everyone, and happy Friday and Ramadan Mubarak to those who are observing Ramadan. I just want to talk with you briefly about the law of attraction. And if you want to see the entire conversation, you can join me on my official Facebook page, and it's author Kalima Overton Amin. That's author Kalima Overton Amin, and that is the official page to see these conversations as well as live events and activities and things that are going on, and to stay up to date about hidden in plain sight. Are you being groomed for love bombing, spirit breaking, and abandonment? If you want to stay updated on my book and the activities, that's where you join as author Kalima Overton Amin. But today I want to talk to you about the law of attraction. I've heard people say that you attract what you are, and does that mean that you yourself are manifesting misfortune and you're embodying mistreatment and that you're welcoming this kind of behavior? Well, of course not. And so by embracing the power that's within us, the creator has given us everything that we need. As I keep saying that, he packed everything you needed in the womb, right? And we just have to be able to embrace that. And so by embracing that power within us, to control our lives, to restore our lives, to rejuvenate our lives, we can break free of some of those bad, reoccurring, and destructive patterns. Oftentimes when we have patterns from our childhood that were negative, and then we find those things in our adulthood, we think, wow, this feels familiar, and we equate something that's familiar with being safe. But that doesn't mean, that it's safe just because it's familiar. And so we have to be able to dig through some of those old wounds, those old areas of trauma and turmoil and obstacles and devastation, and kind of sift out the ones that are, places of familiarity in a way that is positive, and those things that are familiar because they're so negative. And we have to be able to heal ourselves from those things, because if we don't, we'll keep gravitating towards those things because we think they're familiar, or we'll keep inviting those things by being in that space and not removing ourselves from those things because they seem to be familiar, and we think therefore, ergo is something good. And so of course you're not, attracting these things purposely. You're attracting these things because you haven't healed. And healing looks like, mental, physical, spiritual, financial, and maybe even legal restoration of your life. And healing looks like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the problem, of the issue, of the obstacle, of the trauma, right? Because if you haven't really understood it, you can't prevent it. You can't stay away from it. You can't recognize it when it's coming. And so when this thing comes and you say, "Oh, wow, it looks like a familiar friend," and it's not, and you haven't healed, then you can't understand that. So we want to heal holistically, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And when we're going through devastation, when the dust has settled, you want to make a list and figure out, where did this touch my life? In what areas? And just make a column: mental, physical, spiritual, financial, legal. How did this touch my life? And think about, repairing and triaging the wound, that's bleeding the most profusely. Okay. And so you want to conduct triage on your life. Okay, because we just really need to get healed so we can stay out of the way of those repetitive patterns that we learned in childhood, that we learned in young adulthood, even some that we learned in our, later adult years, because, some of these things have been normalized, and we, participate in these behaviors because it seemed normalized. And so we want to make sure we can sift through, all of those areas in our life, from which we need to be healed. And so, and let me be clear, this doesn't mean that we're one day going to eliminate all of the obstacles, the trauma, the disappointments, um, the turmoil. It's never going to be eliminated. But what you want to do is to get the full knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so you can make a better choice. So you could, because everybody wants to make good choices in life, but sometimes we just don't have the tools in our toolbox to do that. And that's how we're going to gather those tools, first by healing, cleaning out the area, feng shui the area, so we can move forward. because as you overcome each lesson, there's going to be another lesson. It's not going to end. There's always going to be another lesson, but each one's to strengthen us. And when you're thinking about, oh, I'm in this really, really dark place, I've been cast into this dark place, and you feel like you've been buried under the weight of everything that is going on, you have to really stop and take a breath, because you haven't been buried, to your demise. You've been planted. You've been planted in a place where you can grow, and you can grow and heal and restore your life, because that's all restoration is. Restoration is when you restore your life, um, back to normalcy, after a traumatic event. When you repair your life and you go back to normalcy, that's called restoration. But let me tell you this, there's something else called post traumatic growth. And post traumatic growth happens and occurs when you not only restore, excuse me, when you not only restore your life, it occurs when you catapult your life into a whole new direction. When you take that trauma, that obstacle, that hardship, and you use it to not only restore, but to elevate your life. And then think about, you elevate your life, and not only that, you help others to recover from that type of trauma or something else. And that's what I felt like I did unknowingly when I wrote Hidden in Plain Sight. I didn't know it was going to do that, but it was just came natural to me, um, because writing, comes natural to me. But you may have another activity that can help you catapult and restore your life. It could be, you know, chess. It could be, you know, working out, it could be cooking, it could be acting, it could be poetry, those things that help you to feel your center, to feel your best. Focus on those things and elevate those things, and find a way to turn those things into something that can, truly help others. And this is a way for you to not only elevate your life, but to also experience post traumatic growth. So I'm not going to keep you too long. Um, but if you want to see some of these conversations, you can go to my Facebook page at author Kalima Overton Amin. You can also join me on TikTok. I've actually just started participating on TikTok. It's been kind of interesting. I'm getting used to it. You can do that as well. But don't miss the Brothers Speak Out about Hidden in Plain Sight. It's going to be on Thursday, April 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I will have three brothers with me. Hassan Clay, he's a marriage and family counselor. A. Bridge Arias, he is a public speaker, a mentor, a business, and a personal coach. And last but not least, James Overton. We're not related. We tried to see if we were, but we're not. So we're just going to be play cousins. But James Overton is going to be with me as well. And he is the host of 757 Coffee Talk in Portsmouth. And we're going to talk about my book, Hidden in Plain Sight. And we're going to find out what the brothers feel about it, because the book is not just for women. It's also for men who have women in their lives that they want to um, protect from manipulation and abuse, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial. So we're going to find out what these brothers think, if they think the book is useful, if they will recommend the book, and what they might think about a part two, or what would they have liked to have seen in this part one, And so we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and get all this information from these very dynamic brothers. And that's going to be on Thursday, April 4th at 7 p.m. To see the whole event, you need to join the Facebook page, author Kalima Overton Amin. Hope to see you there. Peace and blessings, everyone, and enjoy your Friday.